The headlight on my mom's 2012 Chevy Malibu burned out recently, so we picked up a replacement bulb expecting for a quick and easy repair. But as you're probably already aware, it's not that easy. You have to partially remove the bumper to make this happen. If you're getting ready to tackle the same job, follow along as I do it for the first time to see if it helps make the process a little easier. First, remove the upper radiator support cover, also known as the radiator sight shield, by removing the 10mm bolts and 4 plastic push pin retainers. I'll use this 10mm socket and my DeWalt impact. This car was missing one of the bolts and all 4 of the push pins. That seems to be a common theme with projects like this, so if you're missing any hardware or breaking any clips due to removal, I'll link this replacement kit down in the description. Not only does it include a variety of push pin retainers, but also comes with trim removal tools that are similar to or even better than the ones I use in this video. And that's pretty funny. Looks like the last mechanic to work on this left his glasses, but here's what everything looks like after the cover is removed. Depending on which headlight you're replacing, you want to turn the tire for that side in so that you have some room to remove the bolts and clips from the fender liner. Since that is connected to the bumper, it has to come off too. I'll use a couple different trim removal tools to pop these clips out. Looks like not only am I missing a few clips, but also a 10mm bolt that should be there, but makes the job a little easier and quicker. And as you can tell, this one was kind of stubborn, so I had to get a beefier trim removal tool to get it out. And if you look up and to the right of where this clip is, that's where the 10mm bolt should have been. I'm leaving this entire process in the video just to show you that some of these steps are a hassle. Just stick with it. Now that the fender liner is free from the bumper, work your fingers between the liner and the bumper cover and give it a firm pull. This is one of those moments where it feels like you're about to break something, but don't worry, that's normal. It takes more force than you expect to pop the bumper loose from the retaining clips. Just keep steady pressure on it and it should release. And this is what we're looking at now. We can finally see one of the bolts holding the headlight in place. Our goal is to access both mounting bolts so we can lower the headlight enough to reach the back side. To get to the second bolt, we'll need to repeat the same process on the other side of the headlight. Work your fingers in behind and give it a firm pull until it pops free from the retaining clips. Alright, now we have access to the headlight bolt on this side as well, so let's go ahead and remove both of them with the 10mm socket. As I was taking this one out, I noticed part of the headlight mounting bracket is actually broken. I'm guessing that happened during whatever accident damaged this side of the vehicle. Since that bracket is already broken, we'll leave that bolt in place and focus on removing the remaining one. With the mounting bolts removed, give the headlight assembly a firm pull and it should slide forward. Once it's free, carefully set it in a position so there's no strain on the wiring. With that done, we now have access to replace the bulb. To remove the bulb, turn counterclockwise and slide it out. The wiring connector is secured by clips on both sides of the bulb, and it can be a little tricky to release. You have to pull back both clips while also pulling the bulb out at the same time, which is even more difficult if it's been in place for 10 years or more. I ended up using 2 pairs of pliers to get this loose. You may not need them, but if the bulb is stubborn, just be patient and keep working at it. Most importantly, be careful not to damage the connector on the wiring harness. If that breaks, you'll have a repair job on your hands as well. Now that the old bulb is out, we're ready to install the new one. One important tip, avoid touching the glass portion of the bulb with your bare fingers. Oil from your skin can create hot spots that cause the bulb to run hotter than intended and potentially shorten its lifespan. Interestingly, the instructions that came with this bulb don't specifically mention that in writing, but there is a series of safety icons on the packaging that's intended to convey the same message. To install the new bulb, connect it to the wiring harness, then allow the tabs on the bulb with the slots in the headlight housing. Once it's seated, turn the bulb clockwise until it locks into place. Before going any further, let's make sure it works. And yep, that checks out. I'll also turn on the brights here to make sure everything looks good, and still good. Now it's time for reassembly. Work the headlight back into position and make sure it's seated properly. I had a little more trouble than you probably will because one of my headlight mounting brackets is broken, but even with that issue, the process is still pretty straightforward. I did have to back it out here to give me a little more room to play with on that other side. I screwed this broken piece at an angle that kind of helped keep this side of the headlight up. Again, likely not something you'll have to deal with. But once that is in position, it's time to start snapping the bumper back into its clips. Because of the damage on this side, it didn't snap into place flush, but I went back and looked at my before pictures and it looked the same. So now we can put our fender liner clips and bolts back in, well, in my case, the clips. And finally, the last step, reinstall the upper radiator support cover. Installation is simply the reverse of the removal. While I wrap this up, I want to thank you for stopping by and watching the video. Hopefully it helped make your headlight replacement a little bit easier. If you have any tips or tricks that could help me or future viewers, please leave them down in the comments below. I'll also leave links to the tools and parts used in this video down in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.